wow, this meeting, I feel like it's like like the first really dense thing that we're going to cover. And like, there's so much to talk about because we're going to see student management, money, finances, all that sort of thing. And that is where, things get ugly. Because when you touch the money, girl, that is a thing, right? So let's start off talking about like the students, the management, the relationship with them, because I think that from there we go into money, right? Because that is a product. Like money, the money thing is a product of the relationship thing, right? So first of all, when we're finding new students, right, you have basically two ways to do it: word of mouth or social media, right? Nowadays, doesn't matter the social media that you're using. Like most of us are from Instagram, right? But I guess some people use LinkedIn, whatever. And the word of mouth thing, like, it really fucking works. Like, the word of mouth thing it's been going on since the beginning of humanity. And it's like a foolproof way to get good students because the person comes through a recommendation. They already know who you are. They're like more inclined to do things, right? To finish and to really close the deal. But there came a time in my career when I noticed my word of mouth was like fucked up big time. The people that were coming to me were like bolsominions. The people that were coming to me were like, all like evangelical people, all conservative people. And I was just like, oh my god, this is so not my crowd. What do I do to break this vicious cycle? And then when I started having a consistent online presence, I broke that spell, that curse of my word of mouth. So then I was able to like penetrate a new niche, which is my niche, which is the people that feel seen when they hear me or they feel connected when they are with me. So then like now my word of mouth is good because now it's like really bringing in them people. But like from the moment that we actually get contacted to a person by a person and the person says, hi, I want to know how you work and blah, blah, blah. Can you tell me about your services? I would love to know how you guys feel about that, how you navigate that, what are your challenges? Because I think that's really hard, right? Like to actually close the deal. Milena came to us last week and she was super nervous about her first meeting. So I would love to know, what are your biggest challenges when it comes to closing deals with students? Do you have any? Please feel free to raise your little hands and tell me. Or can I call on the people like I did last week? Okay, I can. Becca, you're first here. For some reason, you're first again. So tell me, what is your big challenge when it comes to closing those new students?
So it used to be worse. I can tell you this. Now I feel actually okay. It's not. I don't feel so anxious anymore. And when I saw, I think it was Milena talking on the group, and I was like, "Girl, I know how you feel. I know how you feel because it's stressful. You don't know exactly how to do, and you don't know exactly what you're gonna say. It's hard at the beginning, right? But right now I feel okay. Whenever someone sends me a message asking about my methodology or my prices or something like this, and I talk to them, I always ask them, is that okay if I send a voice message? Because I want to really talk to them. And I say, hey, this is how my classes work. I give like, I sum up the information, and I always say, but it would be great to talk to you face to face so we can get to know, I can understand your expectations, your background with English, and all of this. And guys, there is no mystery with price. I don't like when someone does this to me, like this mystery and this, like, I can tell you later. I hate this. So I tell the price, and if they're really interested, they will have a conversation. We will talk. I show them my methodology. I explain how it works. This is what I do. But I can tell you, Milena, the beginning was a nightmare. I would be like shaking like this and calling my therapist, saying like, I need to talk to a new student. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. But now I'm okay. It's all good. No worries. It's gonna be okay. And this is what I do. And also I have this it's like a file with pictures. Can I share my screen? I don't know if I can do this here because I think Bia is the only one able to do it, right?
I think maybe you could share a screenshot in the WhatsApp group for
Perfect.
us.
I'll do
That'll
this.
be nice, I think.
Yes, I'll do this because there is this file with um where I introduce myself like, hey, my name is Rebecca. I studied English like this and I worked like this. This is how my classes work, my prices and everything. So I think this is faster. And if they like it, okay, we can talk. you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
And I love what you fucking said about like the price mystery thing. There is not a thing that pisses me off more than people that are like, yeah, first let's have a meeting and then I'll tell you. I'm like, bitch, you better not waste my time. You better tell me how much this costs. Like, what is this? Is this flirtation? Or is it like, it's just a service. It's easy peasy, right? So I love that. Saying your price up front because then you don't lose time, right? Let's be honest. Like, that's what it's about, being objective. Amanda, what would you say?
So I tend to start talking to people and get my customers, my students, but I don't know. I know how I can do it. I have some resources, I have some materials, I have some clue where can I start, how can I do. I don't have any idea about prices because like it's going to be my first time, so I don't know if I can charge like a big price or I have no idea about pricing. And I was talking that with my girlfriend this weekend because she told me about a coworker that heard from her teacher that she was stupid. And yes, and the main process was like grammar, grammar, grammar. And the girl said, I don't want to learn grammar. I just need to speak in my job. And this is driving me crazy. First, because I know that you need to make a connection before you teach. And I have some great ideas like maybe talk about astrology with my friends because they liked my friends wanted me to teach them, but I I don't know. I always think, how can I start? And I have everything on my power to start, but I just can't. So, and especially pricing, I don't know how to price. How am I going to say, oh, my class is 10 reais? I have no idea. So this is driving me crazy because I could do better.
Aw, I feel you. I really do. Milena is over there like because she basically told me the same things that you're saying. Like it's hard sometimes to initiate that, especially when we maybe don't believe in ourselves fully as teachers yet. Like we don't see ourselves as legit professionals yet. So we're like, what am I offering? Am I even worthy of offering this sort of thing? Like they're gonna see right through the fraud, the imposter that I am. So I think the best way to combat that is to just fucking do it. Like Nike, just do it. Just do it. Just go throw yourself at it. Like the worst case scenario, the student is going to ignore you and they're not gonna, have classes with you. But that's not the end of the world, because even those poor people, those sad people that stay at like the edges of shops, the doors, and they're like, "Hey, you want to come and take a look at things today, miss?" And we're always like, "No, thank you." And they don't get depressed because we're like, "I'm not going into your shop." They just go on and wait for the next person to come. And that's how I like to see my teaching business too. Although it's not on a physical street, it's online and it's in people's collective minds. If I'm constantly there and I'm talking about my service and I'm telling everyone how I love to do what I do, like that speaks for itself. And then people come to you, and then you just gotta be open and share your price, because I know you maybe don't feel worthy yet or you feel awkward now, but it gets easier. And today I'm like, maybe the first thing I want to send now when someone comes to me is the price. Because, because maybe if you don't want to pay this price, let's not even. So, and it's shocking because we're going to talk more about pricing further on in this meeting, but it's like, it's shocking how maybe we think, oh, I don't know if people are gonna pay that much to have classes with me. But then they just fucking do. They just do. They just do. And if some don't, then others will. That's just how it works. And it may sound like easy as I'm saying, oh, easier said than done, Bea, but it just is the reality. And I see a lot of teachers nodding, so they must agree. Paula,
Well, I hope we're really gonna talk about how much is fair or
we will.
not fair, because I think that everyone here thinks that okay, my price is that, and it might not be fair for another person, but you get it? But okay, I really want to talk about it, but I really understand her. And when I started charging people, my first student, it was like 15 per hour. I was like crazy, but I was super insecure and afraid of being a bad teacher, about being not a good English speaker teacher. So, but now, after having other students and after them telling their friends about me and they coming to me, I feel more confident about, okay, look, we could set a day to have a conversation so that you can know me better, I can know you, I can understand what are you expecting. But okay, I have groups. You can have an individual class with me. And if the person asks the price, I just say, that's my price. I charge this much. But I really would like to talk to you so then you can understand how are my classes. But it only came after all the people coming to me without sharing on the internet, because when I started, I was telling people on Instagram, so guys, I will start to teach English. So if you want to come, and nobody came, so I needed to charge a very low price, and that's awful. But now I think I'm better, but I'm still not knowing how much exactly I would be charging. I'm not sure if I'm charging the right price. I don't know if I'm worth more, but yeah, that's me.
Oh my God, that is so fair. I feel like instead of postponing this part of the conversation, I'm just gonna jump right into pricing. But like, so we can just continue this conversation and keep on sharing the things that come up, right? But I would love to touch on that fact of like that you guys have been bringing up of having a first conversation with students and getting to know their journey, their story, because I feel like that speaks louder than anything else. Like maybe before in the beginning, I shared my screen and I said, okay, this is a aula teste, like a trial class. I used to use that word, and today I don't even call it a trial class anymore. I call it a first meeting because it's like let's get to know each other. Let's, because it's not just like, oh, I'm a product that you're gonna buy. Let's. It's not a fucking car that you're gonna test drive. I mean, like this is a relationship that we need to build, and we just need to see if we're compatible. So first meeting, I really want to know what the person feels about English, how their journey has been, what are their limiting beliefs, what are the things their priorities, the things they want to work on, everything. And that's what's going to set the tone for the next classes. But never do I say, okay, this is one of the classes that I would teach you. Because not all my classes are the same. I explain how I do what I do, obviously, but I'm never going to share my screen and say, okay, now let's do a little practice game. And maybe I don't even also speak English with them if they're not ready. Some people, they do have a certain level of English, but first class, first meeting, they just want to like talk in their native language about what they're feeling, how they're doing. And then second class, we can get into it. There's no rush. We have all the time in the world. Well, all the time they have. But like, even so, we could take it slow. I don't need to pressure them to speak English on the first meeting. Like if they say, ah, não, bebê, é do zero mesmo, sem nada. Of course they know things. They always have this passive knowledge that's there. But I'm not going to put them in the spotlight. I'm just going to, start the first class. I'm going to start those questions to get to know them. And then I'll see, oh, this girl knows shit. Maybe they are from scratch, right? But that's just not first meeting thing. That's like second, third, fourth. First thing is establishing rapport. So the person's like, oh, I vibe so much with that person. I really want to have classes with them. Me? Before I go into pricing.
Hi. It's just a little question. Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
When you were talking about speaking in Portuguese with some students, the question is, with A1, A2 level of English, should we give classes in English or in Portuguese or both? That's a really doubt that I have about it. I
It
don't know how
really depends on the level of the student, honestly. I think
If
it
it
really
is,
depends on, sorry?
I'm sorry, it's my internet. It's my internet. I was saying that if it was A1 and A2 level of students.
I would say it's a bilingual classroom at that point,
Oh, great.
I would say it's a bilingual classroom, and I don't like speaking 100% English from class 1 because I feel a lot of people will get like overwhelmed with that.
Yeah.
That's like too much for people. So like, of course I use English heavily. Of course I'm like, hey guys, how you doing? Blah blah blah, beep, 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 blah, 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 blah. But then when I'm actively explaining an activity or when I'm talking about what we're gonna do, or it's just like I see that they're not understanding, I go into Portuguese. Like it's
Okay.
bilingual until they can
Okay.
really,
Yeah, because old school methods, they used to say English only English and da da da, and I never liked that really much, especially with beginners. But then I can see that there are some studies, there are different approaches now, and that was a question of mine. I thought that you would say that. I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, in an ideal world, people listen to English and they're like, whoa, a challenge. I don't understand anything. Let me
Mm.
understand. But in reality, people are so limited by the educational system they're in that it's just like crippling to not know
Yeah.
something. It's just crippling to like listen to a language you don't understand. It's like, oh, am I a fucking baby? I'm not, and I'm an adult. I don't understand. And then
Yeah.
it's just a whole big deal. So I rather like take it slow, you know?
Mhm.
But pricing, people. How much do we charge for our classes, right? I'm gonna be real. I started charging 60 to 70 per hour. That's how I started. Like in the very beginning of my career as a teacher, I started charging 60 to 70 per hour. If you go on Google, they'll say the average price that is 70 per hour. But then right now I'm charging 185, 200 to some students, depending on their the financial means. But I do not work for less than 110 per hour. That's like a pact I have made with myself that I will not do that anymore. But I have climbed my way up that ladder, you know, though there was a path to get there, right? Like I had a goal. I had a goal, and so much that I even like I said, I'm gonna show these people. I'm gonna show these people my spreadsheet, right? Because I have a fucking spreadsheet. I can share a template with you guys if you're interested later. This is my money spreadsheet right now. So I'm going to go all the way back to May 2020. And then y'all can see here how much I was making. I am no bullshit. We're all teachers here. So I'm opening this up to you. So I was making this much right here. Can you see? 3,000 reais. This is not dollars, okay? It's reais. 3,000 reais. And then I said, no, I got to do better. I got to do better. Some months I made even less. But then I went into a crescent motion and it started getting into more money, more money, more money. Oh my God. 5,000 here until we are here today. Oh my God. 3 years later. And my May forecast is 12K. So that's a good forecast, right? But then last month, look what happened. A lot of students went on vacation. So then I had 3,000 less than normal. So when I am deciding how much I'm going to charge for my classes, I need to think of all the variables, right? I need to think that this maybe is a market that where sometimes someone's going to have a vacation or something like that, you know? So I like to put that into my calculations, right? I like to think of it this way. Let me share this little thing here that I've been using to orient myself on our journey. But like, think of it this way, okay? This 10K thing is something ambitious, right? I like to be ambitious. I believe all teachers can make this much. And I think that this is like a good way to live in Brazil. Like in Brazil right now, things are expensive as shit. So even if you're receiving this much, you're not living like Rihanna. Like I thought I would when I got to 12K. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be like Beyonce right now, but I'm fucking not. So, so I like to think how much you need per month to cover your basic expenses plus an amount for savings. When you're a private teacher, it's so important for you to save money. Like saving money it should be a part of your monthly costs. You should put that in as a bill that you religiously save because you don't know tomorrow. Right? You don't know if you get sick or something like that. It's really good for you to have a reserve. And I don't mean that to trigger anyone's anxiety or anything like that. But like my accountant, I had some time with an accountant. I was like, my financial life was a mess. And she said, no, you need to have savings because you need to have at least like 3 salaries saved up. And that is very, very ambitious. I don't have 3 salaries consistently saved up yet, but I'm working my way there. Right? So how much you need plus how much you want to save is your goal, right? Then you take that goal and you divide it by the number of hours you want to work per month. Okay. And this here, we're working in an ideal world, right? Because of course you started with the amount you charge now. And this is about a goal that you're going to work towards, right? So if I divide that, I get 150 per hour. This is how I knew that from 70, I made this math in the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, right? So I said, this is how much I need to charge, but I'm not there yet. If tomorrow a student comes to me, I don't have the guts to charge them 150 reais because right now I charge 70, 80 tops. So the next student that came, I charged 80. The next student that came, I charged 90. Then I stayed charging 90 for a while. Then I went to 100. When I felt like I had like enough students paying 100, I said, okay, next one that comes, 110, 120, 130, 40, 50, 60, 70, 85. And now we're here, right? And then I charge this much because then when a Black person comes to me, when a mother comes to me, when a minority comes to me, I can charge less. I can do it for free. So after this mentorship here, 9:35, I have a Weed Moms group. So I have a Weed Moms collective, and then we have a group just with moms, and they pay 70 reais per month, and then it goes to the collective. So I can do charity work now. But because whenever a person that lives in Spain, that lives in England, whenever a bourgeois person comes to me, a lawyer comes to me, okay, 160 per hour, you know? So that's what I'm saying. Establish goals because it's possible. There are no limits to how much you can charge when you know your shit, when you know you're a good teacher, when you're studying to be the best, when your students are progressing. There's no limits, because there are people that charge 300 per hour for certain services. They fucking deserve it. So this world technically has no limits, but of course we are limited by the circumstance that we are living now, but we have that ability to progress gradually. Louisa, you are muted, love.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little bit rusty because I don't teach English yet. So I was thinking. So you don't charge. You don't have like. It depends on how much you charge. I mean, that's what I'm trying to ask. Because I work with, I review texts and whatever. I teach other things, but not English. And I try to think like this. I mean, I have an amount. I think it's okay. But if a person who I know, it has more money, I charge more. Then I don't know. I was thinking about this. You don't charge the same price for everyone.
Well, I technically do because I have that little text saved in my WhatsApp. That's like 175, 185 per hour. So I have those two saved up. Now I think I even unfavorited the 175 one. I just leave the 185 one. And then it's just there. Whenever a person comes, that's my price. I always send that price first. But since I know the person maybe cannot pay, I send after. But we vibe like that. We can always talk. If this price doesn't work for you, let's talk about something that really works. Cause like, tamo junto, and nice for nice. Especially when it's a mom, it's a woman. I'm like, and nice for fucking nice. So if you need a discount, talk to me. And then I'm really open to giving them that discount. But I love that they know the value of my service. Like,
Okay.
I charge 185, but you don't pay
You show
185.
them how much how much do you think your work costs? I mean,
Yes, because then they're gonna value me. These days, a student that pays 112 per hour was like rescheduling a lot. She was missing a lot of classes, and I was like, honey, remember, this partnership is about me uplifting you so you can uplift me too. And although teaching you is a pleasure, it's also my job. I support my family. You understand my hustle. So I need you to be here with me. I need your partnership. I need you to pull your weight. And then she was like, yes, you are completely right. I'm so fucking sorry. And now she's better. So I can throw it, I keep it real. I can really tell her what's going on. How are y'all feeling about what I'm saying about pricing? Please feel free to raise them little hands. Nobody has any comments?
Yeah, I do have comments. Sorry, Andy, but I need to say something. It makes me feel very empowered. That's the word. Yes, because it seems achievable. That's how I feel. It seems possible because sometimes we're here all the time alone. We have no one to talk actually about it, and we feel like, no, 10K, that's impossible. That's impossible to achieve. And now when you say like, okay, I have my path, I'm doing my best, I can achieve this, I can get there. And I feel really empowered. So thank you so much. That's amazing. And also I have one question. I don't know if you guys have the same question, but do you have one specific day to have your students paying? How do you do this? Like, do they pay every class? How do you deal with this? Because this is something that is not so clear right now, and I would love to hear from you.
Well, personally, me, I think people can raise their hands and share their thing. But I have this little enrollment form, right? I don't use a contract per se. I have an enrollment form, so it's here. And then I ask here, right? I have the information, and then about payment, like what's the payment method, and then when are they going to pay? If people pay until the 5th, because I got my bills to pay on the 5th, then they get a 10% discount for private classes. The rest, they have other days that they can pay. But that's how I do it. So I don't know what other people are gonna say. Eli, what did you want to say, my love? If you can also answer Rebecca's question too. Eli? No? Is there?
I was muted,
Okay.
sorry. Anyway, um, I don't have like a private student yet, but some people came to me asking about my classes like online, and I was just like you guys, like, man, how can I charge? Because like at the school that I work at, they pay me for about like 13 reais per hour. So like, uh, how much, like, you know? And I asked it, Marco, and he said, man, like minimum 70 reais. I was like, man, nobody will pay me 70. Nobody. Who is crazy to pay that amount to me for 1 hour? And he was like, bitch, value yourself, your knowledge, your time, like the preparation of the class is not easy. So you have to value yourself. And he said, oh, some students I charge 110, 120. I was like, impossible. Nobody would. And but yeah, like I said, okay, some students came to me and asked about my classes, and I told them the price. Like, I don't know, maybe they didn't want to pay, but I'm cool about it because like right now I'm working at 3 different schools in 3 different cities, so I don't have much time. But my goal, of course, is to work less and make more money because I'm don't want to be a slave anymore.
Come on, 13 hands per hour. That is a modern day slavery. Like, what the actual fuck? That makes me so fucking pissed off. Like, right? 13 hands. Come on. Like, these people should be ashamed. Right? That is why your self-esteem is shit, because they are paying you 13 hands per hour. There's no way to be happy, to be confident receiving 13 hands per hour. There's like physically no way. Like, there is no way. So like, don't go hard on yourself because you're feeling like shit. Like, you would, working as much as you are. Like, let's get you the hell out of that situation, right? You.
So I have a comment about this thing of charging. I had my first private student, and when I charged her, I was charging 45. Now I think this is really shitty. I thought this was a good thing, but this is really shitty. But I thought about the two jobs I have is teacher job in the course, and the job I have with my mom. She has a store, and when I was there, I was like working 3 hours and making 100, so 50 reais. So I'm I made like a reasonable thing between 15 reais and 20 reais online, and I got okay. I'm going 45 because it's like 180 a month. But now I'm not with her anymore, but I still have this difficulty on the subject of authority because I charter 180, and now this is like I don't get less than that, but how can I get more than that? Because I don't know, I feel like I haven't studied enough, I don't have degrees enough. I know something, I can value that. I teach for over a year, so that is something. I have people that have learned with me, so that is something. But I feel like, oh my God, I'm so young. And maybe that's even the same question that Luisa has because she's new at teaching English, she said. So it's kind of confusing. Like, I want to charge more. I feel like I have this value, but I can show how, I can see how to prove that. Like, okay, I know this is my life. I do that, but
I would say that you have to look at the empirical evidence, right? Our mind is always trying to sabotage us, but I like to go at it with the facts. So if you have students that are looking for you, if your schedule is full, I like to go through the demand situation. So if my schedule is so fucking full that I can't fill any more people, then I think it's time for me to increase my price, because otherwise I'm going to be working too damn much. So I'm not going to go into that merit of like, oh, my English, oh, my graduation, oh, my diplomas, oh, my experience. I'm looking at the supply, demand and supply thing that is like empirical, that is real. So it's about like how much people are looking for you. So when you need the money more because you have less students, you charge a certain price, and then you start getting bougie. You start getting like, I ain't gonna work. I ain't gonna work for this much because I have a shit ton of students, you know? So you'll feel yourself naturally like evolving your price because you feel like this is not good for me anymore. But right now, I don't think you can start charging 150 per hour. I don't think you can start charging 180. Like that's unreal. You got to start somewhere you feel comfortable, which I would say is 70. That's what I say is like the minimum. So you're
Yeah.
like living like a decent human being and not burning the fuck out, right? So you're preserving yourself, and then work your way up towards the demand. Okay? Like think of the physical demand. Rebecca.
So, yeah, I love what you just said. And I just wanted to share on something that really helps me with my confidence. And when I look to myself and I see how much I study every day, guys, look what we are doing here. It's 9 p.m. We are here together to become better teachers. We study every day. We try to improve our English, to de-rusty our English. We focus on different methodologies. We pay attention to our students. We're doing our best, you know? So we deserve a good amount of money. We deserve to charge a little bit more, you know? So I think this really helps me with my confidence when I try to always study something, always paying attention to something that I can do in a different way to make my student more comfortable so that I feel more comfortable, you know? And I think we need to think about this all the time and remind ourselves, like, I'm doing my best. Look what I'm doing here. You know, it's Monday, 9 p.m. I'm exhausted, but I'm happy to be here. You know, we deserve this, really.
Absolutely. That's it. You know, if you're the same teacher, if you start charging 70 per hour and then you never evolve as a teacher, keep your price where it is. But then I think you're also not going to have new students too, because then your work is going to be probably shit and people aren't going to recommend you. So it's like proportional. I think everything is kind of proportional. You know, the better you become a teacher, the more people recommend you, the more students you'll have, the more you'll be in demand, the higher your price will be. It's like, it's not, it seems like a big secret, but you really just got to start and start charging and start doing it, because once you do, you're going to fall into the works of it. Like there's no way, you know, it's impossible to ignore. You're going to catch yourself tired and then you're going to start to want charging more. It's want to charge more. So it's just like, Paula.
I gotta say, I'm literally feeling butterflies in my stomach because I came from 15 to 50. That's how I'm charging now. But I'm gonna change it. I was charging because I really, my boyfriend always talks to me, you need to charge more. You are such a great teacher. All my students keep saying that to me, and I feel like, oh my God, because, well, I come from a not really, really poor, but a very simple background. I came from public school, so I have a few friends that have some money, but they're not really rich. So I don't really know people who could charge more. So now, today actually, I decided to start sharing content on my Instagram. And I told everybody, hi guys, well, this is a personal profile, but I'm going to start to share content, even if you like or not, because it's my profile. But I really like to know if you'd enjoy it, or something like that, because I didn't really want to post something without any advice, without telling them, well, I think I'm going to slowly start to do it. So this way I can find people that really could pay me more. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really emotionally. I don't know. Really good, you
Oh,
guys.
I love that. Really, honestly. And that's what I want you to know, that you can do more. Like, I understand when you say that come background where fathomable. Like, I also come from a very simple background. My father is Nigerian. He's an immigrant. My mom came from Spain too. It's like I come from a very humble background. I grew up in the US and my parents were immigrants there. They were always cleaning houses or working construction. Like, and then nobody had an education. I'm the first person in my family to have a master's degree. So I feel like even chills on my skin, because I feel like I'm giving my ancestors so much pride, so much joy. It's like I'm getting paid 180, 190, 200 per hour. Like, when could my great 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 grandfather that was taken away from Nigeria and brought here to Brazil as a slave, when would he even imagine that his great 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 granddaughter would be here, you know? So it's like we are so much. We are the peak of our DNA. And I see that how is that is so beautiful, right? To be able to occupy this space and to charge the price we charge because it's, like, but it's strange too, because like, do I really deserve this? But it's me, but I'm so simple. We have generational cycles of poverty to break here. It's about breaking generational cycles of poverty and not just physical poverty, monetary poverty. It's about like mental poverty of like, I need to work for people. And if I'm not working for people, then maybe tomorrow is not guaranteed. Fuck that shit. That's what our colonizers want us to fucking believe. That's what our slave masters want us to fucking believe, that if they abolish slavery, then we're gonna be, beggars and shit. But we not. We rise above that shit. We make our own businesses. We thrive because we deserve it, because we're fucking in love with what we do and we're always becoming better and better. So yes, you charge that fucking price. That is deep ass shit. That gives me the fucking chills. Get the fuck out. Oh my God. Amanda?
Julia said that she doesn't know how to prove her value, and that's why she has some trouble to pricing and everything. And then Paula said about her Instagram content and became a creator. I don't know. And this is something that I was thinking about. Uh, how can I use social media, and can we do that for, I don't know, to show how I can share, how can I be valued about my pricing. This is something that I really want to do like a long time ago, but I'm very shy. Like I'm not shy in real person, but I am on social media. I'm very shy. Like I like to talk to my closest friends on Instagram, and I know that I have a lot of opinions to share. But and actually, I see a lot of teachers' profiles, so I don't know how to be different. I don't know how can I add something new. Like your profile, be it's something new for me because you're talking about bilingual education, but you're also talking about social problems and making your reflections and everything. But I was thinking that maybe, I don't know, a portfolio or Instagram could show, hey, that's how much you can believe in me. I don't know.
It is. That's exactly what it is. Of course, we will have modules about social media. It's the two last ones that I was like, strategically, I'm gonna keep these people here because that's what they're here for. But like I would say right off the bat that like if you go to my personal profile, just bea.argolo, that's what the one I use to attract actual students, not teachers. And then there you'll see that it's just me sharing about motherhood. Normally it's in Portuguese even, but in my stories, girl, in my stories, I always speak English. And I talk about different shit, like things I'm pissed off about, things I think about the world, blah, blah, blah. And people, they just have me as a reference. It's like when I think of English, I think I remember Bea is always speaking English in her stories, talking about education. So that's the reference right there. And sometimes I post a picture of whatever, a dog. And then people remember I exist. And then they message me like, hey, I want to have English classes. And I didn't even post anything about that. But through the stories, I'm able to communicate who I am, what I believe in, how I do my work. And then that is exactly what you said, Amanda. It's like, this is my worth in a certain sense. It's so strange to be like, Instagram shows your worth. But in the end, that's what it is. That's what branding is, right? But we will get into that. But it's hard. Though social media is a good place to have turnover happening, because student turnover is normal. Every month, maybe I lose a student and then I gain a student. I lose a student, I gain a student. I think that's super normal. That is super fucking normal because especially when you're charging high prices, because if you're charging high prices, maybe a person cuts your expense when they need to, or maybe they just, I don't know, shit happens. It's normally not about us. It's like I've never had a situation where it was about the teaching. It's always about like a person not having money anymore. And you know what? That's why we save money. That's why we save money. And that's why we are consistent. I am consistent on social media because then I know that students will be coming in, you know? So maybe I'm a little like too chill with my Instagram, but then when I see that maybe my student level is not as I would like to, now that I have my thing established, I'm just like, okay, maybe this week I'm gonna share some stories. Maybe I'm gonna pop out there and be like, hey y'all, remember I exist, you know? But the thing I'm focused on now is the teacher's Instagram. But even so, The Bargola one still like pops. The last time I talked about decolonizing education, I got 2 students just out of stories. So it's like it works. But you got to be real. You got to be you. I don't like that tip shit. Like how to say tree in English, how to say door in English, 5 words, fling blah. Like I'm not that kind of person. I respect who does that, but I just think it's more of of what we already have. And like nobody actually learns through tips on Instagram. If the person really wants to learn, they're like watching shit in English. It's nice to be there and be connected, talking about what you believe in as an educator, what you do, how you do, and like why you do, to who you do, helping those people out with problems they have regarding their learning. But like necessarily giving tips, I don't think that generates value because a lot of my students follow people that give English tips, but guess who their money goes to? Me. They just follow the people to get the tips. So like when you say house, dog, see one little words, they will follow that and save that, but they're not buying those people's courses because it's not like they have a connection with those people. It's just tips. Those tips maybe say nothing about who they are, about why they do what they do. It's very superficial. And that's what I saw when I saw teachers' Instagram. Like when I started, I was like, this does not look good to me. Like, okay, this person goes viral giving tips, but who are they? As a teacher, I was asking myself, like, who is this teacher? Do they actually speak English? Do they actually know what they're doing? There are some teachers that are viral. I'm not going to name them, but they are very viral. And then when you go do their courses, it's like, what the fuck? Why are you teaching me words like blue, purple, pink? And the person has a lot of triggers in marketing, like, you know? So it's like, social media is a wasteland if you let it be, but it can be a place to just generate value for your business, for yourself, and to make genuine connections. So, that's what's up. Okay, now let's talk about the actual charging of students during the routine. So you close the student, right? The student is yours. Do y'all feel icky about going to the student and charging like, hey, time to pay? What do you guys do when it's time to pay? Anyone? No one? Okay, Milena.
With all my experience with my first students, um, sorry, I couldn't help it. I told her that I usually charge my students. I ask them for pay beforehand, before classes started. So I told her that I usually charge 95 per hour, which was not, and and that I have a package for students that wanted to have a pay per month, a monthly pay. That was 350 for one class per week, 4 classes, and 650 2 classes, so 8 classes per month. And if you close the deal for the package, the classes would be lower, a smaller price. So for 1 class per week, it would be 87.50 the hour, and for the second package, which was 2 classes, it would be 81.25 per hour. But my hour is 95.
That's a strategy for sure. I got that too. Yeah, exactly. When I say I charge 185 per hour, then when you make the math, when you do the math in the end, if you pay on the 5th, you get 10% discount. So that's kind of what I do too. The same thing, and always before. Like, I will not work without having money in my pocket because I am not a fool. You trying to calote me? Tá brincando, me dá o calote, não vai. Tá ligado? Não vai. So, like, nem fudendo. Aqui não.
Yeah,
So
no
just
way.
know. I'm
Yeah.
gonna charge beforehand for sure. Yeah, exactly. I love it.
I didn't know if that was the right thing to do,
is.
but I just did it. And before I get to these prices, I thought a lot, like a month, perhaps 2 months, thinking about the price, and then I closed the deal like that. For the first class, for the first student, it worked. Let's see.
Perfecto. You'll see. It'll get easy peasy. Paulinha?
I forgot what I was about to say, but amazing.
You're muted again.
Oh, sorry, I don't know why, but I've been teaching since I was 15, because I always since then I've been teaching math. Even before I was graduated, now I still teaching math and chemistry, but I still don't really know how to charge, as you guys know because I told you. And before it, I wasn't graduated in chemistry or anything, so I didn't know exactly if I was worth it to, if I should charge more, even to my private math and other stuff classes. But yeah, I forgot what I was about to say, but that's it. Just a
But how
comment.
to charge? Honestly, I see a lot of people like they go through a big hello, how are you doing? How are the kids? Blah 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 blah. So I was wondering if you could pay me. You know what I do? I was like, hi, stopping by to give your monthly pay reminder. That is all I say. Literally, hi, stopping by to give your monthly pay and an emoji, a little heart thing, just to keep it sweet, just to
I remember now.
to keep it sweet. And then I put in the enrollment form. When I asked the day, I also asked, would you like a pay reminder? Because I explicitly asked people if they would like a pay reminder. And guess what? Everyone does. So then that gives me that opens the door for me to go with, hey, like we agreed, but I don't say the let we agree part. I just so there it is. I asked them. Beautiful. But just keep it sweet. Casas Bahia is not like, hola, senhora, tudo bem? Como é que tá a família? They're just like, bitch, here's the carnet.
I think just because of this experience I've had before since I was 15, I'm okay about reminding them. So, but I go like, hi, did anything happen? Did you forget? Is everything happening? So if you want, we can talk. Oh, calm, sorry, I forgot it. Always like this.
I used to do that. I used to always also be like, there was one thing that my mom, because my mom is also a teacher, right? So she used to do this, like, oh, I received a deposit here in my account. Is it yours? Because in that time we didn't have pics with like names and shit, right? It was just like, there's a sum here in my account. Was it you that paid me? Just so I can confirm. And then the person's like, oh no, it's not, but let me pay you. And then now I see that it's just like trying to circle around. It's just like, bitch, remember, softly, remember, because it's just being objective with it, not circling around too much. I don't know, but I get that. Maybe it is a little intimidating for you to get right
Go
into it.
Rihanna. Go Rihanna on them, right?
Some
Bitch
students,
better
if
have
I
my
have
money.
intimacy, I am like, I have the emoji, and then when I have intimacy with them, I'm like, bitch, better have my money. So,
Please
Ju,
share with us.
I will.
Please share this one.
So I have two things that one of them you've talked about, but I'm gonna start with the subject right now. I have a question about platforms like Hotmart and Eduz. I tried using Eduz, but it's like I kind of lose, I don't know, 10 or 20%. I don't remember. 10, I think it was 10% of my money just on the platform. And I can charge my value. I have to raise it and then discount it and then raise it because of the taxes. But oh my God, like this is like really crazy. Is anyone understand what I'm saying? Because I feel like I'm crazy.
No,
Okay,
I am. No, I am.
because it's like I it was 90 reais was 5% to receive the money to make the sale and 5% to take off the money.
To withdraw the money, yeah.
Yes,
No, girl. People gonna pay me by Pix. If they don't pay me by Pix, maybe they could use Mercado Pago or some shit like that. But I will charge that 6% from them.
but I
You
don't have
know.
to have the work to charge. Like you don't
But
have. I don't have to text them. Like it's kind of monthly.
there is a payment method that I used to use. I even forgot GalaxPay. GalaxPay is a service that is like maybe the same thing. They charge less. They charge a lot less than 9-10%. They're one of the best that there are. The students can pay by Pix. The withdrawal is very easy, but you have to have a CNPJ. You have to have a CNPJ. But GalaxPay is really nice. But I would say like get over it. Get over having to text them because they're your students. You talk to them every class. So
Yeah.
you should have that intimacy to just be like, hey, why you gonna give these big ass corporations your money when you don't need to? Like that's my point. It's like having a pimp. It's still the same thing as having a pimp, a person that gives you classes and they take their cut off. Like, fuck no.
Yeah, this is something that I think about either because of my sister and mom, they have their company. I can grow with them. I can understand a lot of the process. But I mean, they company, they don't have to have this contact with their clients. They can be like, I have I have an employee talking to you. You don't have to talk to the owner. But when we're teacher, like when you're private teacher, we can be companies, we can be products. We have to be like real people connecting all the time. So this was what I thinking, because within this course I work to, the owner, she's like, she loses herself. Like I mean, it's really weird. Like she's trying to assess her students, and sometimes they just don't talk to her. They ghost her, and I feel like it's terrible. Sometimes I can't say a lot of things like, but I don't want to be ghosted when I'm talking about this. I mean, it's my
No,
job.
and that's about the rapport you establish with the student. If from day one you're very open about the prices, about how much you want to get paid, if you're getting paid before the classes, like they cannot ghost you. And if they do, they're not going to have classes anymore because they're paying before they start. They're not paying after. Because like, what are you going to do if they ghost you after you already taught them the classes? You know, I think that's why I always say, if you want to pay in the beginning per class, so at the end or beginning of every class you pay, and then once you're comfortable with our relationship, you can pay monthly. But normally people just pay monthly and before starting, because like, right, Rebecca?
Yeah, just something very fast. Sometimes I talk to them during the class, like, "Hey, today is payment day," or "Hey, have you forgotten?" or "Hey, you have to pay me," or something like
That
this.
is another level of face. I have never done that, and I like to have evidence that I charge them. So I think maybe that's why I've never done it in the call, because like, what
Yeah,
proof
that's
do I
true.
have that I actually charged you? You know,
Yeah,
but
that's a good
I think you're
point.
ballsy.
Yeah, because I like to do it face to face. I think it's easier. Sometimes they cannot ghost me when we are face to face.
Marcelo, contunido. I haven't had students do that. I was telling teachers in the club last week that for the first time in 13 years, I got a caloche last week from a guy an influencer living in Spain. Yes, an influencer living in Spain gave me a caloche, but it was not like he had class and he didn't pay me. He just stopped having class and didn't pay the 30 days plus that I asked, like the advance, you know? So I was just like, I wanted to get rid of him. So I was like, I'm not going to do anything about it. But we can't do anything about it anyways, because the contracts that we sign have no legal validation. They're not legal, you know? So I just have that Google Docs. The Google Docs opens a spreadsheet where I have my students' names and information. So I love my Google Docs and my Google Forms. I love the Google Forms thing, you know, because anything that they sign won't have any legal thing. So I might as well just have a system that, you know, shows all the information, that makes our agreements very clear from day one. And I'm going to send you guys this little enrollment file in the group. Okay. So you guys can like maybe have a base or compare, give me opinions of like what you do different. And I'd also love for you guys, you could do this in private if you want, to send me the messages that you send new students. If you want some like directions of maybe what you could say, what could be different or things like that. So please feel free to send me your messages, the way you explain your methodology to your students. If you want some tips, if you want some pointers, if you want some feedback, okay, I am here for you. Let's exchange about that. If you want to send it in the group too, okay? Because that's what we're there for. This was lovely. I don't know if you guys feel as good as I feel right now, but I'm just so happy to exchange with you guys, to listen to you guys, and to bounce off of each other. I just love it. I absolutely love it. Well, this is us for today. If you have any further questions, anything that wasn't answered, anything that comes up into your head when you're like, I don't know, taking a shower, taking a dump, message us in the group. Okay, we will be there. And oh, I always fucking forget. Can we take a screenshot so I can post before I fucking forget? Wait a minute. Let me just lower Rebecca's hand. Okay, can I do this?
I was
Okay.
about to remind you of that.
There you go. Oh my God, no, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, wait a minute. Do again. Pose again, guys. There you go. Thank you. That is us for today. Anything,
you.
message us in the group. It is a pleasure as
Thank you. Bye
always.
bye.
Mwah.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
You
good
guys,
night.
bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.